Hi everyone, how's everybody doing today?
Evening.
Hi Jackie, how are you?
Hello, I'm very good, thank you. I'm good, yeah, a little bit frustrated, couldn't get on, but we're all systems go now, so that's good.
Yeah, many apologies to everybody who normally watches us. We are so sorry, but tonight we did have a few technical difficulties, which, let's face it, sometimes happens. But we're here now and ready to go.
It was Gemma's fault.
Dave, no, right. Do you know what it is, Jackie? It's taking the mick. It's because I'm actually at my friend's house tonight. So a massive shout out to Lauren. It's girls' night tonight. Tuesday night's girls' night. So I'm at my friend's house and we're doing nails, face masks, foot masks, girly stuff. And I put a post on Facebook and Dave said,
nice.
"Don't forget we've got a show tonight."
She forgot.
So Dave's trying to blame me. So Jackie, do you just want to introduce yourself to everybody watching?
Yeah, I am Jackie Dennison. I'm the host of Rescue Mediums TV show and the co-owner of Feathers Academy of Clairvoyance in Northwich. And you're in my dining room, and so it is the hub of our house. So people are going to be coming back into, and we've got 4 dogs. So I apologise in advance.
Don't you worry about the dogs. Dave's dogs interrupt us every week, so don't you worry about that. Okay, so Jackie, tell us about Feathers Academy. How does that work?
We have a little shop in Northwich, so we sell lots of crystals, smudge, tarot cards, that sort of thing, spiritual pictures. We'll shop it, but it's so welcoming. It's like going into somebody's living room. So we've got a little fireplace, chairs outside of the fire. But we do clairvoyant readings there, and we also teach clairvoyant developments there. So, and past life regression and nice healing sessions, and we've always got the kettle on. So that's what we do at Feathers.
Oh, it sounds fabulous. So how would do people need to
come and see?
Yeah, definitely. I will definitely come and have a look.
Yeah, well, Dave's been. He knows
what it's
like at Feathers. You have. And I'm laughing because my son's crawling across the floor here.
Oh, tell him to walk past. It's fine. You never quite know what's going to happen on the Entering the Unknown show.
It's such a lovely, welcoming place at Feathers. And people people can just come in, sit tea or a coffee, have a chat. If they've got any problems to do with their own spiritual development, about maybe having dreams that they don't understand, or they've got something going to deal with, or even stuff that's going on. So they might want a clairvoyant, or they might want some spirit, some healing, or they might just want to sit and have a natter with like-minded people. And so that's what we offer normally. However, with COVID, obviously, it's a small shop, so we can't socially distance properly. So I'm afraid at the moment it's by appointment only. But today I had a lady ring me. She wanted some incense sticks, and she couldn't get out of her own home. So I nipped down to Feathers, got a box full of incense sticks, took them to her house because she wasn't very far away, and let her choose what she wanted. So she was really chuffed. So that's
really nice.
Well, she was pleased. She gave me an extra 50p.
Oh. Got a little bit of a tip. I think we've got just a slight lag, everybody. So I do apologise, but we'll keep going the best we can. So when it comes to because you said you do tarot readings as well. I know just before we started going live tonight, you said that you was getting your deck of cards out and one fell out.
Yeah. Two fell out actually, but one fell out in particular. these are like power animal cards and I got these purposely because I know how Dave is very, very into his wildlife and his birds. He's got this wonderful thing going on in his back garden that he takes a lot of interest and care of the wildlife in and around the area. So I thought, while I'm just waiting, because we've got all these gremlins in the works and technical issues going on, I'll get the cards out, just have a little bit of a shuffle. And I did. And the one, well, there was two fell out. One that fell out, the first one, was the one, let me see, it's the elephant. The elephant is actually one of my totems. It's one of the first totems that I had. And it says, resolve, you will overcome any obstacles. And I thought, well, that's really appropriate. Seeing and the second one that came out, which I didn't show you, was this one, and it's the hawk. And I thought, well, that's very appropriate, really, for Dave, because I know that he loves the birds of the feathered variety. So I'm not going to get him into it. So it says, choose your priorities and eliminate all distractions, because the hawk is very, very, it's very focused, isn't it? So, yeah, so I was having a little play and that's what fell out.
Wow.
That's awesome. Somebody in the chat room, actually, I'm sorry, I can't always see names. I'm just going to go on my phone, so please don't think I'm being ignorant. It's just so I can get the names of the people that commented. So Helen Hughes has said that she did a spiritual development of feathers with Jackie, and it's absolutely changed her life. She now communicates with spirits, does healing work and card readings. That is awesome to have good testimonies like that, because that's not something that comes around all the time anymore, and the fact that you are willing to help and help others develop.
Yeah, I love helping people, and it's something I've done it for a long time. It's something I've done for a long time, and Helen's a lovely lady. In fact, her daughter drew me a beautiful picture of an owl, which I've got in feathers. It's up on the wall in feathers, and she bought me an owl as well. But she's a really, really lovely healer. She's a very good reader. But yeah, that's the way. It's all about helping each other, don't you think?
Yeah, it is.
You see, you actually had a show as well, didn't you, on Canadian TV?
Yeah.
Rescue Mediums.
The show is Rescue Mediums, yeah. Yeah, I filmed that from 2000. We filmed the pilot 2005, but 2006 right through to 2011. So yeah, in Canada for 3 weeks, home for 2 weeks. In Canada for 3 weeks, home for 2 weeks, and we've done 7 seasons. Do you mean how did it come about, or how?
No. How
is the show about?
So, yeah, talk us through the show and how the show obviously helps people. Sorry about the background noise.
I've done I'm coming to your house or to your mate's house. It sounds like you're having fun there.
We're just having the nails done. I'm so sorry. With the show, I've done spirit rescue work for a long time, long before the show came into being. And so really the show is based on what I already did, what I've already done for a long time. We basically go into people's houses or places of work to find out who's haunting the place and why they're haunting. And we help. So I think our show is quite unique, really, in that we have a beginning, we have a middle, and an end to it. So we have fun when we arrive. So we have different silly, I've done a level on a dog sled. I've been on snows. We've been in limousines, which are quite nice actually because they've got bars inside. So we've got lots of different rivals. But when we get and we do the investigation, we take our work very, very seriously. So we find out who's haunting, and then we sit down just like you would, with a human being. It's like, why are you doing this? Why are you behaving like this? What's going on? What's making you so angry or upset? Is it all on a spiritual level, or do you delve into the archives to find out if the person that you're obviously communicating with was actually at that address and things like that, or is it literally specifically mediumship?
No, and that's what makes it different, because we find out who the spirit is, and we have a lovely lady called Edna who follows us around. She's head of research, and she has a little notepad there, and she has a headset on. She's writing everything down that we're saying as we're going around. So if we say, I've got the name of George, and I'm just feeling as though he's hit the clothing he's wearing, sort of probably he's around about the maybe mid 1800s or something, and he's working with his hands, and he's maybe he's hitting something with a hammer, so maybe that's his profession, that's what he works in. So we try and get as much information as we can from the spirits that we're working with, so that Edna can then go away and do the research. And she pulls the show together amazingly, because she will then go to the archives, she'll find out who these people are, and she will get proof that they existed, and that they, you know, so if somebody passed away through drowning, just say, for instance, George passed away through drowning, she'll go and have a look in the archives, and she will find out, oh yeah, George passed away in 1865. And he drowned. There's a newspaper article, or there's a death certificate that proves it. So
that's something that we don't necessarily have over here in the UK, isn't it? So like you say, you know, your show comes with a beginning, a middle and an end. We don't get that over here. We get the raw footage, and it gives such a wrong impression of paranormal and paranormal investigations, because people then watch these TV shows and think that you can go sit in an empty room and something will happen straight away, whereas it sounds from like with your show, because you get in the full story, so you get in the alpha case, if you will, somebody's reporting a case or activity happening, you guys are going in, you're doing your mediumship, and then somebody is verifying the results, and then you've got your conclusion. That's something that we really don't get over here, and it is such a shame.
Yeah, and that's why. So as I say, the show is based on what I've already been doing prior to that, and so the difference is, as well with Rescue Mediums, is we never know where we're going. So the first 3 seasons I did with Christine Hamlet, and the last 4 seasons I've done with Alison Winrider, and we're never told where we're going. So we do premonitions before we go, and we write the premonitions down. You know, we speak to our spirit guides and says, you know, tell us something about where we're going or what we're going to find when we get there. So we write things down or do drawings, you know, so it's some psychic art. And it could be a picture of somebody who lives in the house. It could be a picture of the spirit that's there. It could even be, Alison does fantastic drawings that tell a story, you know, so she could be drawing lots of different things on the page, and it tells a story of what we're going to find when we get there. I think piecing it all together in that way makes it different, because we get together, Alison and I get together in front of the cameras, and we share our premonitions, and we don't talk about it beforehand with each other until we film it, because there's nothing like, we're not actors, you see. So if somebody was to say, I want you to act surprised or happy or whatever, you know, I can do my best at like going, ha, or ha, ha, ha. I can do my best at doing that. But there's nothing like it being as it comes, you know, that reaction, that genuine reaction. So we don't talk about it to each other beforehand. And so the reactions that we get on camera are, you know, like Alison and I reacting to each other's premonitions, and we don't know where we're going. And sometimes our guides will have a bit of fun with us, because they'll tell us in the premonitions, they'll give us things like, one of the things just came to mind. We'd got an apple.
Jackie, I think we've lost you.
To do with New York or something like that. But we're trying like it's a cafe. us, because that's what we saw on our way to the location. So it was just to do with what we would see on the route. So it's
Jackie,
all good fun.
Jackie, can you hear us?
I can hear you now, but it went quiet for a little while.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Yeah, we lost you a bit there.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, yeah, well, I waffle, so it doesn't matter.
It's about time somebody came that gave me a run for my money with waffling. Honestly, it's fine, Jackie. Don't you worry. So with the show then, so because you don't know where you're going beforehand, and with your premonition, so your case is already starting to build before you even leave your house.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's it.
Can we watch that show over here?
Yeah, it's on. It actually shows on. Oh gosh, as one of the new entertainment programs, but they never tell you when it's coming on. But you can watch every single episode on veryparanormal.com.
Really?
So all the episodes are on there, and we've got a YouTube channel as well. Well, so if you just type in Rescue Mediums YouTube, you'll get all of the seasons on that.
It sounds phenomenal. I think Dave sent me a clip, actually, to be fair, and it did look awesome. But when you don't see it, because I don't watch it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But I don't watch an awful lot of paranormal shows. I'm more of a doer than a watcher, if you will.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I'm so wrong, isn't it?
No, I'm just the same.
I just think sometimes I like to go out and experience myself rather than watching other people. And a lot of the time I can get quite frustrated watching TV shows. So I tend not to bother because it takes the enjoyment away from what I do. Now, obviously, we're slightly different, Jackie, because I'm about as sensitive as this brick wall behind me. Whereas for you, I mean, when did you first know that you had this gift?
I think when I was about 8 years old, I bent down to stroke a dog, and my friend said to me, "What are you doing?" And I'm stroking this dog, and she couldn't see the dog, and I'm stroking the dog, and she couldn't see it. And the next time was probably a couple of years later. I'm sure there's been other things as well, but you don't really remember a lot. But I was sat at the bottom of the road waiting for my auntie to come home from work. She lived with us, and as I'm waiting, this guy came past and he said hello, and I said hi to him. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm waiting for my Auntie Jean." So he said, "Just tell her that, George said hello." I said, "Okay." So when she came, I told her, and she said, "What did he look like?" So I told her, and she just went white, and she said, "You couldn't have seen him." She said, "Because he died 2 years ago." So that was the first sort of, because I don't normally see physical like that. When I'm doing spirit rescue work, I can see physical, but mainly it's with the third eye. So I don't know how do you two see that? Do you normally see with the third eye, or do you see physical?
I've done a bit of both, but I'm not as open as what you are. I mean, I have felt things in the past, and I have heard things, and I've picked up names before, but it's nothing as much as what you have, because I'm not tuned in like you are. But I have picked up stuff in the past and on investigations, yeah.
Do you think it's something that everybody possesses?
Yeah. Everybody's born with this. It's a natural ability. Everybody's born with this. But of course, when we go to school, we've got to learn to do all the practical things in life. And so it all goes on a back burner. And then when you start, I became interested again when I was a teenager. And I went actively looking for things as a teenager, but I suppose I did it all wrong. I did go look. I wouldn't do it like I did then. I wouldn't do that again now. But
I think we've all said that.
Yeah. I was looking for the darker side of things and didn't know what I was opening up. That's the problem. And then of course it all left me. You leave school and you do other things, you work, you get married, you have children and whatever. And so I consciously wanted to learn more. I wanted to know how to connect with spirit. I wanted to know, there's something else out there. What is it? I wanted to know that is there life after death? I wanted to know all of that. So I made it my business to go and find out. And then having found out, I wanted to share it. Yeah.
See, there's not a lot of sharing in the paranormal field as such, especially when it comes to development. A lot of people are quite, how can I diplomatically put this? I really should think these ones through before I start digging a little hole for myself, shouldn't I, really? But a lot of people won't help others. They just take for themselves. So, for somebody like yourself to come along and to want to willingly encourage others and to try and help people with their development, that is really, really nice. And it's not something that we see enough. I have got a question. I've got a few questions, actually. I have to keep, I'll have to read them as we go tonight. So Claire Tyndall has put, you mentioned you get some feelings and insights before you get to a location. Have you ever gone somewhere that you felt before you went was dark or dangerous? And if so, how did you handle it?
I just run the other way.
I don't bother going, I go home.
No, that's a good question. Yes, I have. Yeah, on many occasions felt that. Because when you're going into something blindly, especially with spirit rescue work, because I do that outside of rescue mediums. I did it before rescue mediums. I'm still doing it now. I'm still doing it with rescue mediums, actually, as well, but sort of behind the scenes, if you like, at the moment. But you do feel apprehension because you don't know what you're walking into. And I always wait to see what my spider senses are telling me when I go into a property. But I make sure that I am grounded and protected before I go in to do any investigation, before I start working with spirit in any way, shape or form. I ground and protect. If we do a paranormal investigation, Dave knows this because he's been on paranormal investigations with us. So we always ground everybody that's there and put protection around everybody before we even start an investigation. And that's not just to protect from spirit, it's to protect from other people's energy. To conserve your own energy.
Speaking of other people's energy, do you think that other people can impact on a paranormal investigation?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I have. So because hysteria. If somebody starts having hysterics over something, it unnerves everybody else, and then that makes them all twitchy. Then, So if somebody gets real spooked out with something, everybody's going, oh, they're like this, looking all around. When really, there's probably nothing there. It's just that one person's energy can then. So if somebody's got a dark energy, it can affect those around them, especially those who are really sensitive, who's got a very empathic energy. They'll absorb that negativity. So,
go on, sorry, Jackie.
Go on, sorry.
I said I was just going to say that.
We're doing this all the time, aren't we? We both need to sit down and have our nails done together, then we can just chat.
I'll bring the puppy up, Jackie. You can come and sit next to me. We'll have a little chinwag.
Have a chinwag. There we go.
I think it's because we've got a couple of seconds time delay between the Wi-Fi systems. So I really do apologise for the lag. I know it is impacting. I really, really do apologise. James has just said in the chat room, actually, spidey senses. I love that expression. I agree. I love it too. I use it all the time. And I think that is the one thing that a lot of people fail to use on a paranormal investigation. Your spider senses. You know things. Everybody like your senses just tingle, and I think that tends to get ignored a lot, and it is such a shame. Do you think though that could be like tuning in, if you will?
Oh, it's definitely tuning in. When we do a paranormal investigation, we have the tools there. So, we have the EMF meters and we have dowsing rods. I like playing with dowsing rods, they're good fun. And the pendulums, and then all the electrical equipment as well. But we always say to whoever's with us, joining us in the group, the best way to connect is to use yourself. You're the best instrument that you have got to connect with spirit, and that is using all of your senses. So your psychic antenna, and the radar system that's always going, all your spider senses, because the chakra system is reacting to your aura. And so the energy flows out from you and reads other people's energy, but also reads spirit energy and residual energy that's in the room as well. So when I'm going on an investigation or when I'm working in spirit rescue, I use my hand chakras a lot. I measure the energy. So I'm always measuring the energy to see what it feels like. And then that tells me an awful lot as to what kind of energy it is, and that's where the mediumship comes in with that then, because that's what I have to connect with. So that's one of my, I use my hands a lot. I'm sorry. I was Italian in a former lifetime.
Having the two going together, so your spider senses and your mediumship, and all your chakras, like you say, having them all working together does produce, would you say, better results for yourself, or not for yourself, but for the spirit world?
Well, no, because I need to know what they're telling me. And so I need to fine tune it. And the only way I can fine tune it is by opening my chakras before I start. So I ground, protect, then open my chakras. And I work very closely with my spirit guides. So if I don't understand what's going on, I call my spirit guides in and I say, come on, what's happening here? And I work very, very closely with my spirit guides with spirit rescue. It's teamwork. It's not just teamwork with the team on the earth plane. So it's not like just say with rescue mediums, me and Alison. It's also our spirit guides who we're working with, or if I'm working, because Feathers has got, we've got our own spirit team as well that go out places. So I work with Steve Furlong very, very closely, and our guides work very closely together. So he's my spiritual rock. I don't tell him that because he'll get big-headed, but he is my spiritual rock.
Jackie,
and we've been together a long time.
Jackie, you've said that live on Facebook.
No.
We'll keep it our secret, don't worry.
Oh, yeah, we'll just skip that bit, yeah.
Do you just want to go through your spirit guides, Jackie, and tell us which one does what for you?
I work with John Kaya. He is a little Egyptian man. Now, I've worked with him a long time, a long time. Since I was first developing, that's when he made his presence known to me. So he is the one that has helped me with my spiritual development, and he is the one that I work with everything, with readings, with rescue work. But I have others that come in and out. So I've Red Cloud, who I work with. Now, he's a bit like my doorkeeper. So he's my personal bouncer. He's not going to let anybody come in near me who he does not approve of. So if I'm worried in any way, shape or form, he's there. So he's here right now. I don't know whether you can see. What happens with Red Cloud is, I think it must be tuning in with the word red. I don't know. But he always makes my, let me just see which way you look. It's the opposite way here. So can you see, like there's red marks here on my neck? Yeah. Well, he comes in and he works to the side of me. So he'll move from one side to the other. And my ears go that ear has gone very, very red now. Yeah. And then he'll step back. And that's how I know, because his presence is so strong and he's so protective that it burns up. And I'm going, you can't do that. I'm unfair, because he's done this when I've been filming, and I'm sitting like that because it looks really silly with having one bright red ear like that. But he does that just to let me know I'm not going nowhere, pal. I'm staying here. I'm looking after you. So, and then I work with different psychic artists. So it depends what kind of psychic art I'm doing. So it could be a spirit guide portrait, and then I'll work with one guide. It could be that I'm working in rescue situation, work with another guide. So there's different ones that come in at different times. I don't know do you work with your spirit guides when you're doing your investigations?
I don't even know who my spirit guide is. I haven't got the foggiest.
Have you not asked?
No. No.
What about you, Gemma?
Lost Gemma now. Your sound's gone now, Jeff.
Can you hear me?
Can't hear Gemma.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I said I'm with Dave. I wouldn't have a clue either. How would you know who your spirit guides are, and if you can call them through? And
meditation. The key to any psychic development is meditation. When you meditate, your vibrations raise, and it makes it easier for spirit to communicate with you. So it's just say you wanted to find out who your spirit guide was. You could say meditate and perhaps picture a lovely garden that you like, a garden that you would be. You just make up in your mind, or a garden you remember from childhood that made you happy, where you feel comfortable. And just imagine that you're going to sit in the garden and there's a seat there, and you're going to ask spirit guide to join you. What do you feel? Just to allow any sort of thoughts or feelings just to pass through your mind, or do you feel like I've got ear? Do you feel anything like that? Are there any smells that you can smell that weren't there before? Like, is it a sweet smell, or even like a cooking smell? It could be anything, something like that you wouldn't expect when you're sitting in the middle of a garden. So it could be anything. You just take in all of your different senses. Oh, hello, we've got a friend there, Dave.
Yeah, it's not the spirit guide.
No. But that's the thing, because animals are very, very intuitive, and they know when spirit are around.
Yeah, both the male dogs in our house know when the spirits move about, because they both start growling and looking at one certain spot in the hallway. And the oldest dog, Charlie, he's noticed the spirit cat upstairs in my bedroom a few times, where he's just sat there and stared at the floor, and he's done a low growl. And so yeah,
they do. They're very, very intuitive.
My dog does that.
Yeah.
My dog's a barker, and up one specific spot in the hallway. Don't get me wrong, unless he sees the postman, because he's got a thing about the postman. But the rest of the time, he will just bark down the stairs towards the bottom of my stairs near my front door. He hates it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Have you asked who's there?
I ask him all the time. I go, mate, who is it? What do they want? Just chat away. But to be fair, my dog is like my best friend.
Yeah,
he really is. Yeah. So with getting your spirit guides to come forward, you say meditation's the key. So because I meditate a lot, I've said this before, like a lot of people struggle to turn their brain off, if you will. I don't have an issue with it. I can literally just lay down and just zone out completely. Do I need to do something other than zone out to call my spirit guides forward? So you say talking to them, inviting them to sit down is the way forward, rather than just turning off.
Yeah, because it's the intent. You know, the intent. If you're just meditating for relaxation purposes, then that's exactly what you'll be doing. But if you're meditating because you want to develop your psychic ability, you need to. It's like it's just say you're at high school and you go into a classroom and there's no teacher there. You know, eventually you'd say, well, you know, is there anybody taking this class? I've come here, and is there anybody taking this class? So, you know, where's Mr. Jones? You know, bring Mr. Jones in. So it's about asking for your spirit guide to come forward so that you can start that connection, so you can start working with each other, because your guide will know exactly who you are, but you need to get to know who they are. And one of the things I always say to students when they first start with me is seeing is not always with the eyes and hearing is not always with the ears. You know, it's using all of your senses as to, you know, what you feel. But that is the way to do that, to, you know, ask your spirit guide to come forward. Don't just expect they'll just turn up. You know,
this is maybe where we're going wrong, because maybe I was expecting, if I had spirit guides, for them to introduce themselves, and the same with people when they're going ghost hunting. Maybe their expectations are too high on entering the location. But speaking of meditation, the lovely Jane Hunt, hi Jane, hi Chris. Jane has asked, do you think meditation helps you focus on being able to use your gift?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I meditate most days. I certainly meditate every day that I'm working, and sometimes when I'm not working, I just do the chill out thing, which is good. Yeah, because you're giving yourself the best thing you can give yourself, and that's your time. You know, and so that's really, really important, and it helps you focus on what's worked before that maybe not work now, what is working now, and how to move forward. So it's, to me, it's very important. It's part of my life, and it centers me, it keeps me. I'd go mad, I'm sure, if I didn't do that. You know, with everything that's going on in my little world, I would go mad. So this, to me, meditation is just part of my life. It's a way of life that, you know, people say, oh, I haven't got time to sit and meditate. Well, you don't have to sit there going, you don't have to do that. You know, you can meditate while you're walking. You can do anything. You can do a mindful meditation while you're walking, like as you're walking along. Can you feel the breeze on your face? What can you smell? What can you see? What can you hear? You know, all of that is really bringing your senses into the present, and it's really good for you, because it stops that flow. It stops that continual flow of words in your head. Because I can have an argument with myself quite easily. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. No, don't do that. Yeah, you know. So
I do that, Jackie, but mine's usually over. Should I have another gin or not? No, you see, meditation is something that I do believe that everybody should do, and then a lot of people do frown upon it, and they're like, well, what's the point? But I know for me personally, meditation, because I suffer really bad from panic and anxiety. I know you wouldn't think so, but I really, really do suffer on a daily basis with anxiety, and meditation really does ease my panic and anxiety.
Yeah.
And I like to do it.
It's very good. It's very, very good for the soul.
Definitely. Well, like you say, it's your time. That is your time to clear yourself of your daily stress. It gets everybody down. And then when you are feeling so stressed, and you wound up with work or whatever, going out and doing investigations, your stress is going to have an impact on it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's the vibration then that goes out into the room. You know, when we were talking earlier on about how other people's energy, you know, can affect us, that is a way of picking up. Because if you are sensitive, you will pick up on other people's feelings. You could actually walk into a room where somebody else has been in. Maybe somebody's had an argument in the room, then they've gone out, and when you walk into the room, it's like, oh my God, what's going on in here? Because you can feel it. you know, and as paranormal investigators, which is what you both are, when you go in, you will be very sensitive to any energy that's there. It's about stripping the layers off, though, and finding out, not literally stripping your layers off, obviously, but going in and stripping the layers off to find out what, you know, what kind of energy layers are there. You know, it's like...
Well, Gemma's done that in the past, I'm going to say.
Honestly, right, I usually get really cold on investigations to the extent where I'll steal people's clothing. This one event that we was doing, I was involved in trance mediumship with a medium friend of ours, and I all of a sudden came over so hot it was unreal. So I was just taking off my million layers, and Dave obviously recorded it and put it out on Facebook, so it looked like I was stripping.
Why do you think you got hot like that? Apart from doing it, obviously, you know.
Yeah, well, I picked this to pieces actually with the medium that I was doing it with, and I believe it was the energy. So the energies of the spirits coming through me was obviously making me go hotter and hotter and hotter, to the extent where I had to remove. And when I say I removed layers of clothing, I removed layers of clothing, Jackie.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and that's the thing is the energy of spirit can have that effect on you, like with, you know, Red Cloud when he comes near, and with my ear, because a lot of people are under the misconception that when they go into a place, it's like, oh my God, it's so cold, spirit are making me really, really cold. Well, when spirit come with lots of love around them, or they've got a message to give you and it's quite forceful, you've got that heat there, and it can make you feel very, very overwhelmed at times.
Well, it was the very first time that has ever happened to me. It's never happened again. But I was flabbergasted. Flabbergasted is the only word to use, because you know yourself, and especially when you're a seasoned investigator. So I've been investigating for so many years, it's unreal. And never before have I ever, because I'm cold the best of times.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden come over really hot, and I wasn't poorly. I didn't have a temperature. There was nothing. There was no reason why I should have been doing that. And because I wear a sports watch all the time, we was noticing my heart rate as well, weren't we, Dave? Because we went back after, and we tracked my heart rate, and it was rising as at the same time stamps, because it's all stamped on. I can bring it all up and look at it. It was rising at the same time as my temperature was, my heart rate was, and it was like, well, there's got to be something to that. That is not just coincidental.
No. Did you know who it was? Did you find out who it was who was doing it? See, that would bug me. I would have to find out.
Yeah.
Because I'm really nosy. I would have to find out who's doing this. Why are you doing it? Why can't you just be normal and just, you know, have a... Why do you put these conditions on me? I would need to find out why they were doing that. Or, you know, maybe they just thought that they could. Or...
Because it was an experience.
It was distorted then.
I said I would have loved to have found out who it was and why, because it was a new experience to me. It's not something that happens on a regular basis. So I would have loved to have delved into it more, but it just didn't happen, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Dave, I've got a question for you in the chat room.
Yeah, I've just seen it actually.
Do you use what the medium is telling you to determine what equipment you use, or how you conduct the investigation?
I wouldn't say yes. I mean, you go with your gut instinct all the time. I'm just reading what she's put about EVPs, and we've had more evidence through the spirit box than we have through EVPs. I mean, I think with last investigation we did, we got a lot of, because we were doing how many fingers were we holding up underneath the table sort of thing, and then it was coming out with the same amount of numbers. How many fingers we were holding up? Say it was 2, it'd come back as 2. So, and 2 different people tried that, and it both came back as the correct answer sort of thing. So, yeah, I think Sean put 3 fingers up and it came back as 3. So obviously it was an intelligent spirit we were talking to, if it could come up with the same sort of figures of what we were, holding up.
Emma in the chat room has just said that she's going to start meditating to see if it'll help with her anxiety and depression. Would you recommend that, Jackie?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so good for anxiety. Well, you know from first-hand experience, don't you, how that's helped you?
Well, I didn't actually leave my house for a year, for almost a year, because my anxiety was so bad that every time I went out the house, I would have a full-blown panic attack because I would think that something bad was going to happen. And I know sitting here now that that was never the case. But when you're caught up in that panic attack mode, you can't just switch off. And again, I couldn't go out and do any investigations or anything during that time period because it wouldn't have been safe to do so.
No. So it's great then that's really helped you. So yeah, hopefully it'll help a lot of other people.
Oh, I think that's underestimated.
Yeah. Can I ask what both of you think about orbs? What you're interested in with
you go first.
Okay, so I think orbs do exist. I don't think they are what most people will class as the dust or the bugs that you see on TV shows and YouTube's, etc. I do believe that orbs exist, but from the ones that I've seen colourful lights. I don't really know how to describe this, but Titanic dry dock in Ireland, I was there doing an investigation, and I kept seeing this light up above us, and I kept saying to people, can anybody else see that, or is it just me? And at one point I was beginning to wonder if I was actually going insane because I was the only person that could see it. And it wasn't until the end of the night where a medium actually came to me and said, that light that you were seeing, there was loads of them. And there was like, I can't believe you picked up on that. But I don't necessarily believe it's the dust that people believe to be orbs.
Yeah. What about you, Dave?
I'm so much the same. I mean, some of the stuff they see on TV. I mean, good example is Nick Groff when he was doing an investigation and he saw something on the CCTV camera and it was coming towards the actual camera. But straight away he jumped to saying it was an orb. It wasn't an orb. Everyone could see it was a spider. The closer they get to the screen, the IR bounces off whatever's right in front of the screen. I should know because there was stuff they have in the garden. So, but I have seen orbs with the naked eye. Because me and Sean, our other investigator, we did a nursing home, an abandoned nursing home, and at exactly the same time, we both saw this red orb come throughout the kitchen, round the corner, through into the room where we were. And I turned to Sean and said, "Did you?" And he turned to me and he said to me, "Did you?" So we both saw it at the same time. So I do believe they do exist, but people have got to realise that what they see flying all over on cameras and this, that, and the other is dust.
It is the majority is. But you seeing like a coloured orb or an orb that changes direction is quite clearly something else. And that's how I ruled them out. And when you can see them with the naked eye, or you see them on camera doing that, when they suddenly change, and it's almost as if it's somebody's walked past, and that's their energy field that's gone with. Because I know a lot of people are going, oh yeah, I can see orbs flying everywhere. Did you see that? Well, no, because the camera shutters are so fast these days, that it just they pick up all the light all the time. But I think if it moved, we've actually.
We lost Jackie again.
We talked place about energy indicating with it as we picked up an orb going round the back of us, and it literally moved right around the back of us, and it was actually were communicating with spirit. So I think if you've got something like that, or something like you had, Dave, where you could see it, you know, moving, and you're both seeing it at the same time, then there's got to be something in that.
It was one of them moments though, because we didn't have the camera facing where we were looking.
Damn.
Shame enough, you know. So we didn't get it, but we both saw it. We both spoke at the same time, and it was just mind blowing because it was only about 6 inches off the floor as it moved along, and it just faded. Then once it went round the corner, it just gone. But it was a really good experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it is frustrating though, isn't it? Oh, I can see things popping up on the screen now. I didn't see them before.
That's me. If I don't get a chance to read them out, I flick them on so that people can see, so I'm not actually ignoring it. Right, so we'll go back to the first one, sorry. So Claire has just put, she was in her dad's study after he passed away, and she suddenly got a massive feeling of his presence, and then the wall in front of her was a huge soft yellow orb. So that's interesting. So things like that isn't something that happens on a daily basis.
No, that would, to me, that is absolutely, that would be her dad.
And I'm not sure, this is Emma. So Emma's put, when she's deeply concentrating on something, she can see lights in the corner of her eye. She can be watching the TV and we'll see it form on the ceiling and then it moves. Do you believe that could be some sort of orb or communication trying to happen with Emma?
I would think it would depend on what was happening at the time with her, you know. I mean, if it's happening all the time, then she needs to get her eyes checked. And I'm not being cynical when I say that. You know, there could be a reason why that's happening in that way. If it only happens like every now and then, what's been her thought pattern, or is it an anniversary of somebody's, you know, the anniversary? Look into all of that. But it could very well be, because that's the other of your eye, or you see something move really quick when you look, because it's peripheral vision. It's when we focus, and so we find it hard to see the in-betweens. So it's peripheral vision, which is how we learn to look at auras and things, is able to pick it up when we're not concentrating on what's in front. So yeah, it could very well be that she's picking things up. But again, I would find out why. I would want to know the why before I could say for definite that I thought it would be spirit or not.
See, I really like that about you, Jackie, because you're as honest as the day's long. You won't go along, like you said earlier, you know, you won't go along with the acting surprised and fake it till you make it, if you will. So that to me is just so refreshing, and it's so nice to actually see as well.
Thank you. Thank you. That's it. What you see is what you get. One of the things that I used to say when we got rescue mediums and we're back into Canada all the time, I always said, if I get too big for my boots, just give me a nudge and I'll say to myself, fish chips and mushy peas, and that'll bring me straight back to.
Oh, Jackie, now you're talking. You do know I'm in Grimsby, don't you? So I'm in the land of fish and chips.
I can say though that Jackie's just like them. Jackie's just a normal person on the street. She's not stuck up or anything. She'll speak to you when she sees you. She'll have a conversation with you. She'll put her hand up to you when she's in her car. So she's not big-headed. She's never been big-headed, and I don't think she ever will be big-headed. So.
Oh, thanks, Dave. I'll pay you later.
We've just had another question pop up in the chat room, Jackie. Is there any theory about how a spirit guide chooses who they connect with?
Do you know what? I've never asked my spirit guide that question, but I will ask him and see what he says. I believe that we all have free will, whether it's free will here or free will in spirit. So the guides that I have spoken to have chosen to be guides. And I don't think that my spirit's with me. believe that my spirit guides are with others as well, you know, and I think that we're all working in a similar way. In fact, what is really bizarre is one of my spirit guides, I've spoken to at least 4 or 5 other people who all recall the spirit guide, you know, in the same way, but different names for him. So I would refer to him as the man in white. I know that my business partner, Steve Furlong, he refers to him as the druid, and he has been working with him for a long time. I've been working with him for a long time, and we never realised it's the same person that we've been working with. We just know him by different names, and at least 3 or 4 other people know him by different names as well. So, but I will ask that question.
Well, definitely ask that question, and then we'll obviously. Well, I think we're going to talk again, Jackie, because we've not even scratched the surface, really. So I can talk to you for hours. To be fair, can I be really cheeky? You can say no. Oh, never mind the nails. Honestly, I can sit here for hours.
Come on.
So, could I be really cheeky? Could you possibly, if you can, I don't know if you can, but if you can, would you possibly pull a card out for me and one for Dave? Sorry, I know that's
yeah, sure. Which pack do you want me to use?
Any.
No, that's fine.
If it's bad news, don't tell me.
Any. Well, these I've got the power animal in my hand. Well, one's just fallen out straight away. It happens to be one of. See, the first one that came out was the elephant, and that was my first totem animal. So this one is the black panther, and that's one of my totem animals as well.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So Gemma, I think that one's for you. Black panther is all about. It's a shapeshifter. A black panther is a shapeshifter. It's very, very silent. It's extremely protective. So when my panther is around, he circles me and then sits down right by my feet. And I know that when he does that, he's doing that to protect me. And he's asking me to sort of follow what I want to do. Don't be deterred. Keep going. So the words on this card are follow your passion. And I think that, you know, if you are passionate about something, you have to follow that, and you have to do the great things about working with animal totems is, and you can try this, your totem is coming towards you and you're going to connect with it through the eyes, and so you're going to stare into its eyes, and then you're into the animal until you become the animal. So you see the dog there, and so he's seeing through the eyes of the spaniel. As we see that here. So the black panther is definitely one that comes out for you. So that is a passion card, but it's a protection card as well. So yeah, follow your passion. Anything that you feel as though you want to do, just go for it. And you'll always be protected. Okay. Have you been looking at photographs today, Gemma?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because if ever I'm unsure of what I've just said, I always ask Spirit to give me something that you'll go, oh, yeah, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. Because I have a lady in Spirit who is with me, and I don't know whether she is a grandmother. I'm not going to go into a reading now because that's not what I do. But that's who's given me that information, and she's saying that she was with you when you were looking at the photographs. So, okay, so the next one that's just flipped out literally is for Dave, and of course it's a bird. It's the pelican. So no doubt Dave can tell me a lot more about pelicans than I can tell him.
Yeah, they eat a lot of fish.
They eat a lot of fish, yeah. But you know, the pelican is all about letting go of things. They can carry a lot of things with them. A huge wingspan there. There's a lot of strength in the wings. So this is all about gliding through life, you know, and going where the wind takes you. If I was to read you what the because I've got the little books there. If I read you what that is, that's not what I'm being told to tell you. What I'm being told to tell you is that go just soar, just go where. I'm flying here. You probably can't see me, but I am flying here. So go where the wind takes you. And the pelican always prepares. So by being able to scoop the fish up to prepare for they're all survivors, aren't they? And you two are both survivors. So this is all about let go of any judgments, let go of fears. Go with the flow.
Aww.
There we go. A quick reading in a nutshell.
Really, really good. Thank you. Well, guys,
welcome.
Jackie, honestly, I can't thank you enough for joining us tonight. We are going to have to do it again because I've got so much more that I need to talk to you about.
Yeah, and I'll make sure I've got Google properly on the other computer. And then we don't. This is wind-up. This is a wind-up computer. This one. I have to wind it up to get it going. I have to crank it up to get it going.
I said to Dave, literally, because you're just up the road from Dave, aren't you? I said, look, just run and get Jackie. Get her to come to yours.
Stood at my gate and Dave stood at his. We can wave at each other. That's how close we live to each other. Yeah.
I'm down the road.
Well, Jackie, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and for everybody watching in, joining in, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure, and we will see you all again next week. Jackie,
Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.